We're going to draw a comparison today between movies and building a garden. So if you follow any of those Hollywood award shows, you know that they have a best leading actor category and then also a best supporting actor category. Both incredibly important for making a good movie, and it's very similar in the display garden where you need your superstar plants that are going to steal the show, but then you also need some of those supporting plants that are going to fill in, provide that accent, that foliage, that fine texture, things that'll make your garden look fantastic all year long and not just go through seasonal phases. So one of the best perennials that you can add to give that great color, texture throughout the entire year is this Artemisia right here. This is Artemisia silver lining. It is an absolutely fantastic perennial as far as durability goes, as far as ease in the garden. When you look at it, you know, you have that silver foliage, that fine leafing around it. You can see how it's playing very nicely in this garden. We're weeping over the wall a little bit, weaving in with this tall garden phlox that hasn't started going yet. We're nicely nestled around this sedum. Overall, just filling in, looking great. Going to be one of those best supporting characters for your garden. So when you think of garden-friendly plants, Artemisia silver lining is just about as friendly as you can get. It has this big, low spreading habit that really forms to fill into any space that you put it. So here you can see we're nicely nestled up against the fountain. At the same time, we're weeping just a little bit over the garden wall. If you are familiar with this type of Artemisia, it has a little bit of Artemisia ludoviciana in the background, which has a bit of a bad reputation within the industry, but at the same time, we selected this one against some of those negative traits. So if you're familiar with the ones that would spread aggressively through underground runners, silver lining has been selected against that. It does not do that. It only spreads over the top of the ground, and even then, you really need to mulch over it in order to get it to set down roots. But if you are staying on top of cleaning this plant up every year, it won't be that much of an issue to keep it in one spot in your garden. Or you can let it kind of take off a little bit, and it will be this nice bouncy ground cover type plant in your garden that still lets some of your bigger plants like those tall garden phlox rise and really show off. So again, excellent accent performance. Going to do excellent with weed suppression as well, since it is up early in spring. Going to keep a lot of those plants that you don't want in your garden from germinating and from spreading out as it shades them out early in the year. So as far as siting this plant in the garden, you're going to want to find a spot that gets full sun and has good drainage. So you can see some of the plants that we're partnered with right here with the Nepeta and the sedum. That should give you a good idea of what type of garden conditions it can handle. It does well in some of the heavier soils, but it does not like to sit wet, does not like to sit heavy wet through winter. So you can try it out in clay. You probably won't be too disappointed with the performance, but overall, best performance is going to come full sun with well-drained soils. Does it flower? Does a plant like this flower? And if so, what does it look like? It does flower, and the flowers are not the most attractive part of the plant. Depending on the year, you may see a few flowers, you may see a lot of flowers, you may see no flowers. It may stay completely foliage, beautiful like it is right now. If you do get flowers, this is one of the toughest plants in your garden. It does not care, especially when it's established, how much you cut it back, when you cut it back, how often you cut it back. So when it flowers, you can pretty much scalp it all the way back to the base and it'll flush back out. Or you can just reduce it by about a half or a third, get it back down to kind of its base form. And then again, it'll flush back out and it'll look like this again later in the year. So don't be afraid of the flowers. Might just be that, you know, one haircut during the middle of the summer in order to get it back to looking beautiful as it is right now. And of course, the last thing I have to say, the thing everyone's wondering about, how deer and rabbit resistant is it? This variety, Artemisia silver lining, excellent deer and rabbit resistance. Don't normally see any browsing on this plant. So if you're looking for a perennial that's going to be tough, durable, tolerate a wide range of conditions, heat, drought tolerant, deer, rabbit resistance, only thing it can't do is survive in the shade. So Artemisia silver lining might be the one for you.